Robert Murphy, Meg Diaz, and Dave Freebooth, or Freiburg.
Good evening. Thank you for your time and service. I'm Bob Murphy. I'm from Franklin High School. This is my 4th year teaching. High school math, 5th year teaching. This is my 3rd career after cooking for a bunch of years in Boston and working and supported Microsoft for some time. For many years, I've had lots of discussions with friends and family on teacher evaluation, retention, training, pay, because every time there's an article in the Atlantic or the New York Times or someplace, everybody has to call me and email me and ask me about all this stuff. And every billionaire that has a pronouncement, I get more phone calls and more emails. And every billionaire that, when it comes to teacher pay and training and promotion, we all have a lot of anecdotes in our life. We know the carpenter or this person or that person that makes more money, they work harder, they do better. And I always ask, well, does anybody know where some systems are that really work well? Where are some systems? And everybody has these anecdotes they point at me. And, you know, they talk about like life is kind of the speed skating thing, and only the best person wins. And then we talk about it, and it's like, yeah, not really, though. You know, there's a lot of fudge out there. And I keep asking, can you show me where it really works? Because I would sign me up tomorrow. Let's have it, you know? And in fact, I mentioned the 1,000 hours I've had of training to get my certification. Very little of it was any use. It was all mandated by the state. These 1,450 colleges and departments of education that Arnie Duncan mentions, not much of the training's been very useful. And then I asked, you know, where in the private sector have we had these resounding successes in the last 30 years? Where have been, the, you know, millions of new jobs? Who's been successful? And anyway, so you know, I ask these questions. Just show me the model, because all the people I work with are willing to do anything tomorrow to make our job more effective with our kids. And so one thing I just want to say, the constant theme is blame the teacher, blame the teacher. And I'm just struck at how effective the messaging is on blame the teacher. And I don't have time to like counteract billionaires in the New York Times, but it just strikes me, it's just really, they've done a wonderful job about blaming us, and we're trying to make solutions. We didn't design the system. We just have our fingers in the dike. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Meg Diaz, Dave Freibooth, and Shaniqua Eakins.
My name is Meg Diaz. I'm speaking about performance management. Last year in her budget letter, the superintendent stated that the title threshold had been raised from 40% free and reduced lunch to 55% because of rising costs from tutoring companies, an expense the district is required to pay. This is narrowly true. Left unsaid is that the district is required to set aside the money for tutoring companies rather than allocate it directly to schools. Once the set-aside money is spent, the district doesn't have to spend more. The set-aside is a cap. Also left unsaid is that for 2009-10, after all the required set-asides, including tutoring expenses, the district held nearly $4 million of Title I money centrally. For what? Well, $2 million of Title money is earmarked for performance management, a policy which is claimed to have no fiscal impact, although it is acknowledged that the work created by it may. Performance management has budgeted an additional $1.1 million from free and reduced lunch funds, which makes me wonder, is performance management the only central administration directed initiative using money from funds intended to help struggling students? 15% of free and reduced lunch funds were held centrally, and a whopping 61% of LAP funds, over $3 million, were held back. It looks like a trend, and transparency is non-existent. The superintendent did not lay out in her letter a case for why she felt it was better to reduce consistent funding supports to school than to reduce strategic funding initiatives. The public needs to hear the case for central administration strategic projects. STEM planning, math professional development, the Early Learning Institute, coaches, just to name a couple of examples, clearly and publicly with full financial information, especially when consistent academic support is being removed from struggling kids, which it is. Thurgood Marshall Elementary stands to lose over $200,000 in funding assistance, as well as staffers from WSS cuts. The impact on the ALO, our general education program, where over 80% of the kids are eligible for free and reduced lunch, will be disastrous. You might argue that some of the loss is because of the change in the title threshold, but much of the impact is because of your decision to migrate the elementary APP into the building without making sure that you had ensured academic support for the ALO kids. Performance management needs to be tabled until there is a thorough discussion of its impact, financial and otherwise. No children will be actively harmed by slowing a central project down, but children are being actively harmed right now by cuts to their schools. I ask you to restore Thurgood Marshall's funding by moving the title threshold back to 40% and insisting that central staff find another way to fund strategic initiatives. Every director has said they want to protect schools. You are the directors. You can do more than say. You can act. Please do.
Thank you, Ms. Diaz. I would just encourage the audience to hold your applause for the end because you're actually taking time away from the speakers. Just, if you
You're probably not going to have to worry about that with me. I doubt I'm going to get any applause. Hi, I'm Dave Freiboth. I'm the executive of the ML King County Labor Council in town. I'm here on behalf of our affiliate, Seattle Education Association, to just offer a few comments on the debate surrounding performance management. I'd just like to say that in terms of the details and the elements of performance management that are being debated, I'm not going to weigh in on that. There are other folks here far more knowledgeable about the program itself that can offer some comment. And I know those folks would like to get to the mic, so I'll just get to the point. In terms of labor's role in this debate, I'd first like to say that we share everyone's aspiration that we provide the best education for our kids, and we find ways to tackle complex problems without dumbing down the debate to comments like, this is about getting bad teachers. There is, as we all know, there's so much more to this debate than those kind of elemental base observations about what this debate's about. So in terms of the adopted policy on performance management, there are elements of this that cause some concern for the labor community in terms of our principle surrounding collective bargaining. The labor movement takes credit, we will and always have and always will, for establishing an environment in this country that provided a strong middle class so that many people, blue collar and skilled folks, had an opportunity to share fairly in the economic largesse of this country. And of course, as we all know, this is a large part due to our principle surrounding collective bargaining. So in terms of the say that workers have in the process, and in this case, the element that the professionals that are teaching our children have in this process, there are elements of this adopted agenda here in terms of changing school staff, direct instructional strategies and professional development, and change of curricular materials and programs that may constitute elements of dysfunction in terms of collective bargaining. I would urge the administration and the governing body, the folks that give their time to serve the public, to keep that in mind and to ensure that we have a smooth transition into whatever policies that we're adopting to move the program forward for the Seattle School District. Thank you very much for your time.